You did just remind me of when you said, "Did anyone recognize you on the first tour?" Because nobody knew who I was. Hell, they still don't know who I am. What I would do just to have fun with that is before the show, I would go out to everyone waiting online to get their tickets and just do funny things. Like one time I came out with a bunch of cookies
Right.
and baked goods, and I just walked out to the line and said, "Free baked goods courtesy of Guns N' Roses." And some people would take, and they had no idea who I was, and many were smart not to trust a stranger,
I was
who
gonna
approaches them with cookies. And then, a few hours later, I'd be on stage. Yeah, so
Brilliant.
just little things like that, just just have fun with the situation.
Brilliant. No, I love that. And I didn't get any cookies from you. Now I wish that
So
I
I owe
did.
you a cookie.
Yes, yes, thank you. But no, I just want to let you know that it meant so much to me all these years later for you to take some time aside, and then all these years. So why did it take so long to get another solo album out? I guess that's also a long-winded question. To get
Well,
another,
let's see. My whole life has been putting out solo music, and it slowed down as the touring took over much of the time. Like I would put out late '90s, early 2000s, there would be an album a year I would get out, and then it became every few years, and then it became 10 years. So I put out Little Brother is Watching in 2015. And since then, see, my thing is that I always put others before myself. So it's just my nature and I can't fight it. So if I want to put out my own album, but I'm working with bands, I'll put my own thing aside to help the bands do their things. So 2015, got out the first Art of Anarchy album with Scott Weiland, and then started working with Scott Stapp on the second one, and got that out and started with Sons of Apollo and got that out, and then touring with them, and I was doing a lot more producing. There's one band called the Dodies, Dodies, phenomenal garage rock duo, such a fun, interesting musical band. And I've recorded 3 of their albums. So just being very busy with all of these bands. And for a lot of these bands, I was handling production, all the studio stuff, dealing with the record label for a lot of it. And so that took up a lot of time. So this album, it's one of those things where you're just on the runaway hamster wheel and you're going and going and going and you're touring all over the place and busting out albums with these other bands and they're touring and doing solo touring and just living out of a suitcase for years. And then pandemic hits and we are all given this gift of unexpected time. And all the things that people would say to me, "Hey, you ever going to do one of these again? Yeah, you ever going to do this again?" Suddenly there's time to do it all. So the first thing I did is I finished up a song called Planetary Lockdown. Easy title to come up with. And finished that and put that out just as a digi single of guitar music. And then I did 2 acoustic EPs that I just stuck on my Bandcamp and started writing with Derek, my Sons of Apollo keyboardist. We started writing what I thought could possibly be the 3rd Sons of Apollo album, but didn't work out that way. And we formed another band called Whom Gods Destroy, with Dino Jalusic on vocals and Bruno Valverde from the band Angra on drums, and Yasna Mora, who's just an incredible multi-instrumentalist, super talented guy. And we put that out, and the guys in Art of Anarchy, they're like, "Hey, we got time. Let's make some more music." I was like, "Yeah, come on over." So every Friday they would come over during the pandemic, and we would just make a song, record it, have it done. Ended up with 2 albums worth of stuff. And then Jeff Soto said, "You should have had me sing on the Art of Anarchy stuff. It would have saved you a lot of headaches." I was like, "All right, go ahead." And So we made another Art of Anarchy album now with Jeff Scott Soto on vocals. So, producing bands, building a new band, Whom Gods Destroy, another Art of Anarchy album, and doing that, I was thinking, I haven't done a fully instrumental album in such a long time. And I already got a head start. I put out that Planetary Lockdown song, and there was another song the year before that I put out called Cintaku, which is Indonesian. It's a term of endearment, means my love. Cintaku. Put that out, and it's like, I already got those two songs going, and let me start writing some stuff. So started writing and recording, and my drummer, the incredible Kyle Hughes, who I met in 2015 when I was touring in the UK, and he had this band. He reached out and said, hey, we're opening for you. How about we learn all your stuff and be your backing band for that show as well? I was like, sure, why not? And they were just teenage kids and phenomenal. And the drummer, this kid Kyle, he stood out. He was just like 16 years old, but he was like a great showman. He nailed everything, sang backing vocals, just a sweetheart of a kid. His parents were wonderful. I was like, you know what? This is the kind of person I want in my life. And he became my drummer from that point on. So he did all the crazy drumming on my album. And some of it, he would come out here for a few days and just write in this room, have a kit set up, and he would just record and record and record. And sometimes when he was in LA, where he lives now, he would just go to a local studio and bang something out. And there was the only song he didn't play on is a song on the new album called Once in Forever. And that one has my friend Jerry Gaskill from the band King's X. And he's an old friend of mine, and every time we're out in Red Bank having dinner, we would always say, we should do something together. Let's do something. So I had this one song that I thought he would be fitting for, and so he came in and just laid his, with that Bonhamy pocket that he has, and just, both drummers are incredible and made the album so good, because it starts with the drums. The drums are the foundation. The drummer is the boss. If the drums suck, the music sucks. You could play shitty guitar over great drum grooves and it'll be okay. If you play kick-ass guitar over shitty drums, it sucks. The drums, that's the most important thing. If your drummer sucks, your band sucks. So and I stand by that fully. So back to my long-winded thing over here.
Long-winded?
So
I wouldn't know anything about that.
So working on the album, making the songs, and it was done and mixed and finished by the summer of 2023. The album could have come out that summer, my solo album. But right at that same point, that is when Art of Anarchy and Whom Gods Destroy, both at the same time, everything was coming together. We were making the videos, we were shooting the photos, finishing the mixing and everything of that, working out the deals with the record labels, and I was doing the Doty's third album, Dreamism, which is out digitally now, and toward the end of May, it'll be out in retail, CDs and all. So it was a lot at once, and it was really pushing the limits. So I had to just put my thing aside. I had a lot of plans for what I wanted to do for my album when I released it. I didn't just want to throw it on Shitify and leave it at that. No. So I put mine aside so that I could take care of Art of Anarchy, get that launched and out. Whom Gods Destroy, same thing. Doty's, get that all done and good to go. And then once that smoke cleared end of 2024, I got back to work on my album, and I was making this animated music video for the song Simon in Space. Simon is my cat. My best friend in the whole world. Yeah, he's my sidekick. And every time I walk out the door, my heart gets ripped to shreds. It's like, no, I'm leaving God. What if he thinks I'm not coming back? I miss him so much. Just to go get the mail. I am so bonded to this soul. Yeah,